again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Leaf Whisper, and welcome back to The Darkest Files. Let's see where we're at. Different perspective, 5th July, 1957.
Good morning,
Paula.
Miss Katz. Good morning, Miss Katz. Miss Katz, good morning.
Who are we expecting again today?
Mr. Wagner has let us know that he is running a little late. The man makes a good impression, if you ask me.
Mrs. Katz, I wanted to reach out once more and offer my apologies if I should have been untoward or less than helpful at the end of our meeting. I did not mean to question, however it may appear, the validity of you and your esteemed colleagues' work in any way. On the contrary, I wholeheartedly agree with Dr. Bauer. We have a duty as a people to right the wrongs of the past and truly put them behind us. It is in the spirit of truth and reconciliation that I chose to write to you. I wanted to provide some more context about poor Anna. She had a very difficult lot in life, parents who abandoned her. Our city lost in the fire. She was forced to do unspeakable things in life. Things for which I may have judged her harshly back then, but which I now see were perhaps necessity of a life lived in misery. From my heart, I thank you for your noble attempt to bring justice for Anna Amelia Beck. Sure. Third witness will arrive soon. Mr. Hens visited us earlier today. He apologized that he couldn't convince his wife to testify and said he found this old letter that could be of use. He asked that we treat it with care as it contains Anna's last words. I dug this up from the files regarding the trial of Miss Kazmirek. It appears that as Julius Haas was investigating Anna's background, someone had been feeding him quite unsavory. Here's the call protocol you requested. New marriage law preserves traditional family order. On, Parliament passed the Equal Rights Act modifying the legal status of wives while maintaining established family structures. Under the new law, husbands retain authority in child-rearing matters, while wives may now pursue employment against their husband's wishes. This is permitted only if domestic duties are not neglected. Law replacing the 1896 Civil Code regulations takes effect July 1958. So forward-thinking. Anti-Red allies. South Vietnam's Diem given heroes welcome. Washington. President Eisenhower personally greeted South Vietnamese President Ngo Dinh Diem as thousands cheered America's staunch Asian ally against communism. Diem addressed Congress discussing continued American support for South Vietnam's struggle against communist expansion. The Vietnamese leader will continue to New York where further celebrations await the visiting head of state. And we all know how that turns out.
Miss Katz. Otto Wagner is here, Miss Katz. Strange man. Doesn't look like an officer at all.
Why is that?
Our whole conversation, he was looking down at his shoes, like a schoolboy in trouble.
I'll find out what he knows. Thank you, Paula.
Go to Peters and ask. Else, might as well see him then. Wagner's not going.
Well, if it isn't Katz, it's good you're here.
Why? Were you expecting me?
Yes? Paula asked you to come to me, didn't she?
No, she did not.
Huh. Maybe I forgot to tell Paula. Anyway, now you're here. If memory serves, you're looking into something involving Greener's brutality.
Yes, that's correct.
Any interest in a certain Klaus Nowak?
Your sudden interest in my case is Curious.
Paula and you discuss everything so loudly the whole building is in the loop. There's no need to eavesdrop when you two are practically broadcasting. Anyway,
That's fair.
I found a testimony Mr. Novak gave in another case. Might be of interest to you. Not directly tied to the Kazmirek girl, but it could help.
Where did you find this?
Trade secrets, Katz. Just be glad it's in your hands now.
Thank you, Peters.
And don't forget it.
Sure he won't. Okay. Can't read. Okay. 4401. To the office of Julius Haas. During our investigation into Anna Kazmirek, we received the following anonymous letter. Whoever wrote it seemed to know the accused well. Perhaps looting was not the worst crime she committed. Having for years the displeasure of being acquainted with Anna Kazmirek, I feel morally obliged to inform your honor of her depraved character. Anna Kazmirek never had any regard for the law. She is a violent evil. Closest acquaintances, if not friends, are criminals. For over 3 years, he was in the employ of one Walter Hens, a man who I am sure your honor does not know. Who would a man who is woman know a man who has woman do the unspeakable? I believe I make myself clear as to what Anna Kazmirek's so-called work entailed. As a result of her promiscuous lifestyle, she has on at least one occasion committed the most heinous crime. She's a child murderer. Anybody who is ever in contact with her can attest to the fact that she changed context to these Engelmacher people, these abortionists, murderers. Furthermore, I'd like to bring to attention the purity of her blood or the lack thereof. Anna Kazmirek claims that she is of Germanic descent, but I have heard from credible sources that, in fact, her parents were Poles. Anna Kazmirek is a Slav in disguise, which I think does help to understand the ease with which she could commit such vile acts. Thank you for a noble attempt to bring Anna Kazmirek to justice. Record of interrogation. Clausen Hallwach, the officer that passed. You served as watchmaster in the district of Babelhof, correct? After the bombing in October 1944, yes. Were you aware of any instances in which the officers of Brunswick were used excessive force or unnecessary violence one? Yes, I'm not proud of it, but it was a different time. We were doing whatever was necessary to keep the good people of Brunswick safe. Were you aware that officers of the Brunswick police were torturing suspects and prisoners? Yes, some prisoners were beaten to a bloody pulp. Others were kept awake for days until confession. One officer I worked with, Wagner, he liked to push people's heads into a bucket of water, and I would rather forget all of that. You have to understand, the top brass has pushed for results. They encouraged us to convince suspects to testify. First how? They instructed us to get creative when interrogating suspects, always, hide the signs of possible incidents in the course of interrogation. There were different ways to hide it. Sometimes we'd paint their faces, use makeup to cover up bruises before taking photographs. Have you ever participated in these activities yourself? I don't recall. Or he doesn't. Okay.
Sorry, Marlene. I don't have anything for you. Oh, don't give me that look. Mr. Wagner. Thank you for coming.
Just doing my part, Madam Prosecutor.
I wanted to talk to you about the case of Anna Kazmirek.
Oh, of course, yes. This one I remember all too well, ma'am. It was one of my very first cases. Not the smoothest start to a career. Earlier that morning, we had received an anonymous call accusing Miss Kazmirek of theft. I was dispatched together with my superior, Mr. Novak, to investigate the claim.
What happened?
We found the place with no issue. The caller provided the exact address, one of the far too many shelters. We were welcomed by a tall young man, and the girl they let us in claimed to have been the callers.
Can you describe the two of them for me?
Of course, ma'am. The boy was around my height, short, curly hair, blonde. Stood perfectly straight. It was clear from his demeanor he was the soldier type. He even made reference to being fellow servicemen for the country, tried to establish a rapport. The girl was shorter, 160, I'd guess. Pudgy, had long, bushy hair, dark brown or light brunette. And very well dressed. Made her seem out of place.
Do the names Wolfgang Kirchmann and Emilia Becker sound familiar?
Possibly. It's been a long time, ma'am, but they seem correct.
What happened to you during the bombing?
I was in the streets. It was all hands on deck. But I can't really tell you any details, ma'am. That whole night is just one long blur.
What can you tell me about the shelter itself?
I admit I was taken somewhat aback when we got there, how dirty and run down the place was. And so full, stuffed, so many people, not enough space. It was one of my first times in a place like that. I grew used to them later, but not yet.
So dark.
What can you tell me about Mr. Novak?
A good officer, ma'am, and a kind man. He took me under his proverbial wing, taught me much about the job. They sure don't make him like him anymore.
That sounded like a different voice.
That was... I'm sorry, that was one of his jokes. He sure loved a good chuckle. I've never been good with them myself, though.
Do you you remember what exactly was reported?
The caller claimed to have witnessed the theft of what they described as a suitcase. They'd recognized the perpetrator as an acquaintance of theirs, Anna Kazmirek. They provided us with a name and address, but remained anonymous. We found the girl in one of the adjacent rooms together with a friend of hers.
This friend, would that happen to be a Heidi Grunewald?
Grunewald? Yes, that sounds about right, ma'am, yes. At the suspect's request, we allowed her to stay for the interrogation. A dumb mistake.
A mistake? And why is that?
This Grunewald girl, she tried to sabotage the investigation. Kept interrupting, arguing with us. She even tried to get the suspect not to answer our questions. Whatever it is she thought she was doing, she certainly wasn't helping a friend.
What did you ask her?
We tried to establish the basic facts of the case, ma'am. Mr. Novak did, mostly. Where was she at the time of the crime? What did she do? Could anyone confirm it? And the heavy hitter, of course, did she do it?
Did she admit to anything?
Hardly, ma'am. She was adamant she didn't even know what we were talking about. But she was unable to provide any conclusive proof.
Or how do you prove
So we
not
had to proceed to the
doing
next step, the search. We requested that this Grunewald, was it? That she showed us, show me, to the suspect's room. Mr. Novak believed that would be where Miss Kazmirek would keep the stolen suitcase.
Did you find said suitcase?
Afraid I did, ma'am. Surprisingly quickly, at that. Poor girl simply wasn't made for it. She didn't hide it well at all, just left it under the bed.
Is it possible that it could have been planted?
Oh, this angle. That would be a stretch. There's always a possibility, but no, wouldn't say so in this case. There was nothing to suggest it.
What makes you so sure?
Were there any conflicts between the shelter's inhabitants?
Ma'am, I've only been there for maybe not even an hour, over a decade ago. There had to be some tension since they did report the girl. Other than that, I cannot say.
Did you get any impression of the relationship between the boy and your suspect?
I can't say I did. He seemed to know her and he was angry at her. Honestly, ma'am, it's been a long time.
I think I'm starting to get a picture as to Paul's involvement.
Can you tell me exactly what was in the suitcase?
Clothes, some documents. I can't say I remember everything anymore. You might have better luck checking the files, ma'am. It should all be there. As soon as I left the room, I found the pair from before waiting for me. Becker and...
Kirchmann.
Kirchmann, right. They recognized the suitcase. I didn't even have to ask about it. And what's more, they remembered an important detail.
Just to confirm, you're sure they both accused Anna?
From what I can recall, ma'am, I'm fairly certain they shared the sentiment. They didn't think it was important before, but they remembered the suitcase was taken from a bombed house. Didn't think it important. It was crucial information. It meant we weren't dealing with a theft, but a looting. An act of treason.
What did you do with that information?
First of all, I wrote it down, ma'am. Immediately. Looting was a significantly more serious crime, especially just a few days after the big bombing. They made quite a commotion. Even Mr. Novak leaned out to see what was happening. He seemed most pleased with the developments.
If Novak was the one interviewing the girl, what did you do?
I took notes, ma'am. Somebody had to.
I'd sure like to see those notes.
Mr. Novak wasn't done with the interrogation, but I knew he hardly needed my help. I took the suitcase, thanked the pair for their cooperation, and headed down to wait in the car.
Did Miss Kazmirek admit to the crime?
She did, ma'am. She did. Gave us a signed confession even before Mr. Novak brought her down.
Mr. Wagner, I'll just ask the question. I have reason to believe Miss Kazmirek was coerced to give her testimony.
Coerced?
Tortured.
What? No, absolutely not. That would have been illegal.
Of course he'd deny it. But if I press him enough... What about the friend, Miss Grunewald? Where was she while all this occurred?
Right, the friend. Yes, still in the main room.
She was? Do you have any ideas why anybody would claim otherwise, then?
Multiple, I suppose. Placing her away from... but then she... I don't know, ma'am. I might have misremembered this part.
Backtracking already. Just a little more. Would you disagree with someone describing you or Mr. Novak as violent?
Well, yes, of course. I know the reputation of...
One moment. Can you explain why Mr. Novak would say something like this?
What? No, that's a lie. I'd never.
Yes, Mr. Wagner?
You're right. I lied. I don't want him to be remembered like that. He was always so kind to me, taught me everything I know.
Just because he was nice to you doesn't mean he was a good person. I'll have to thank Peters for that document.
I take it you hadn't been part of the force for long?
I'd just become a junior watchmaster earlier that month. That's why I was assigned to Mr. Novak. He'd remain my partner for years to come, but at that point it was me working under him. Learning the ropes, so to speak.
I don't know what I'm missing from the investigation, but I'm not gonna waste too much time looking.
I didn't know, I swear. I couldn't. I wasn't there. I only realized the truth when I saw her, ma'am, when he brought her down. Her face was all... He didn't even bother to clean her up.
Why did you lie?
It's... I'm sorry, ma'am. He was a good man. Flawed, but good. I owe him much of who I am today, and his family... I didn't want him to be remembered this way.
And he did it alone? You weren't involved in the meeting?
No, ma'am. I'd never...
We all say that.
I joined the force to help people, to do the right thing, to uphold the law, just like you do here. I'd never do anything like that, I swear, ma'am.
Is there anything else you forgot to mention?
No, I don't think so, ma'am. After that, we brought her to the district office, and it was out of her hands. We couldn't have known it. We didn't know she would. It was out of her hands.
Sure, pilot.
Very well, Mr. Wagner. Thank you for your time. That will be all for now.
It's the least I could do, ma'am. Really, I should have... I'm sorry I couldn't be more of help.
Miss Katz, there was a call for you from your father.
Oh boy.
They've landed.
I'll call him right back.
Miss Katz.
Thank you, Paula. Who do I want to call? Was flying as bad as people say?
You have no idea, dear. I'm really feeling that. What was the word? Time zone syndrome? I think so. Doesn't really give it justice, believe me.
It makes me dizzy and tired.
Is everything all right?
Essie, it's not like I only call you about bad things. Don't act like your mother. All's good, don't worry. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know we are back home, safe and sound.
That's good to hear.
We really missed you there, Essie. It's a pity you couldn't get the time off. But I understand. Work. Especially for a man like Bauer.
Here we go again.
I thought we've been over this already.
Oh no, that's not what I meant. I'm sorry. It's that I know Bauer is a workhorse, even in our line of work, and I'm sure he expects the same of his people. Look, I'm not going to pretend I like the man. I don't.
Please.
But I've accepted your choice, and frankly, I'm proud of you for making it. Believe it or not.
Thank you.
You believe what he's doing is right. I may disagree, but sometimes what you need to do is ignore what an old geezer says. And just do what is right. I'm proud of you, kid.
I want to go over the case again. Anna, please forgive me. I never wanted for you to worry so much about me. You deserved a better daughter, but it is over now. When you read this letter, I will already be dead. They are coming for me very soon. Don't cry for me, I beg you. It is all right. I have made peace with my fate. My last thoughts will be of you and everything you have given me. Please give my love to Heidi and Wolf and say sorry from me to dear old Mr. Hossel. Mrs. Hossel. Forgive my carelessness. I was so sure the suitcase was yours. Your beautiful red scarf. I thought I would recognize it anywhere. They are waiting for me. I must stop writing now. I love you, Mama. Anna. Where's that transcript? Where's that list of stuff? Where's that inventory list? There was indeed a red scarf included in the clothing found in the suitcase. Wagner also lied. He said he took the suitcase down, but Senior Watchmaster was the one who found the suitcase. And that would be Nowak.
Miss Katz.
I need you to invite the next witness. The victim's boyfriend, Wolf Kirchmann.
Finally. This man gave me such a headache. By the way, I hope I'm not overstepping, but I had no idea you had a sister.
Because I don't?
No? Sorry. I saw the photo on your desk earlier and I assumed. I saw how adorable you looked and just thought, sisters.
My turn.
Untermensch, filth. Look at that. Red studies. What's that? German history? You can stop trying, filth. You don't belong here.
See, kind of world else that they lived in where, sorry, accidentally activated theory. Kind of world they lived
About a
in.
lesson. Repeat after me. Nur für Deutsche. Hey, the hell are you looking at, Katz?
We're not sisters.
Oh, sorry.
She's a friend. Was. We've lost touch. The photo's a sort of memento.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
I should probably get going.
And I should probably get back to Peter's damned files. Lovely.
There's nothing left for me to do. I should call it a day.
The boyfriend, at last.
Not where I'd expect to find this office, to be honest. But it's a nice corner of Frankfurt nonetheless. I should try the coffee at Café Selten sometime. I've heard good things.
Be a lot nicer than wannabe Nazis would stop desecrating his office.
Good morning, Miss Katz.
Morning. Mr. Wolf Kirchmann will arrive soon. Mr. Peters just wants to talk to you. Scoffed when I suggested he can ask himself. Bauer requests an update, and after the last witness, asked me to remind you about the warrant. Christianity over communism. Following the CDU's victory in September's elections, Chancellor Adenauer expressed gratitude to his voters, stating that Germany has rightfully chosen Christian democracy over socialist ideology, reiterating his stance from the campaign trail. We are firmly determined that the SPD shall never come to power, he declared, stating that an SPD victory would lead to Germany's downfall. The Chancellor emphasized that voters have spoken for proven Western alignment rather than dangerous socialist experiments. Yugoslav leader offers third way between East and West. Belgrade. Communist dictator Marshal Tito claims Yugoslavia can serve as a bridge between East and West, praising his nation's unique self-managing socialism model. A carefully staged address, Tito boasted of improving relations with both Western powers and Soviet bloc nations. While highlighting Yugoslavia's economic success, observers note his regime remains firmly communist despite its break from Moscow. Western diplomats remain skeptical of Tito's claim near childhood. In 3, 2, 1.
Miss Katz, Wolfgang Kirchmann has arrived.
What's your impression of him?
He's obviously uneasy. He's in his army uniform and appears quite agitated.
Hardly surprising. High time. I'm coming. Mr. Kirchmann, good morning.
Yikes.
The rank is Hauptmann.
Of course, Hauptmann Kirchmann. I apologize. I understand your rank is something important to you?
I didn't bleed into the order for a paper pusher to Mr. me.
Jeez.
I must say, you're a hard man to get hold of.
I'm a busy man, Miss Katz. And I'd rather not waste time on your games.
I wanted to talk to you about the case of Anna Kazmirek. I believe you're familiar.
Yes, I am. Haven't you all done enough to her?
I think it's what you did.
I need you to tell me about Anna's arrest.
Very well, since you need me to. It hadn't even been a week since the Brits left the town on fire. We were all there. Anna and Heidi, a friend of ours, had just returned from work.
What happened then?
What happened? You know it damn well already.
How would you describe Heidi's relationship with Miss Kazmirek?
Closer than sisters, those two. Inseparable. Except for when Anna was with me, of course.
Did you salvage anything from your old home?
No, of course not. We had just evacuated all those places. Scavenging them would be highly illegal.
I didn't ask about scavenging, just...
I didn't.
I'm sure.
And why were you at the shelter on that particular morning?
I was visiting Anna.
Could you be more specific?
I was there to check on Anna and help her in whatever way I could. She was tired after her shift, she and her friend. I offered to take care of them. I do not expect a woman of your position to understand it, but she did just lose her home.
Hey, we both lived through the war, buddy.
What can you tell me about Emilia?
A snake. A proud one too. Always thought herself better, above everyone else. I had just stepped out to the kitchen when she started it all. Becker, that snake. I could hear her out in the hallway on the phone.
I'd say it was rare for a soldier not to be in active duty at the time. What were you doing in Brunswick?
What was I doing? I was back from the front. My friend's dead, my city gone. What was I doing? You tell me.
Did you hear what she said?
Not enough to understand her plan. She was talking with the police, reporting a stolen suitcase. If only I had heard her say Anna's name.
What happened to you during the bombing?
My family was lucky enough to quickly find their way to one of the bunkers. Myself, I didn't join them. With all hell breaking loose, I stayed to help evacuate the others.
Tell me about Heidi.
Anna's best friend. Only friend. Other than me. Hot-headed, loud-mouthed, headstrong. Always had to be right. That she had in common with Anna. For once, the officers didn't take long to arrive. Figures. 2 of them, protective police. A tall, weedy imbecile, and an older man with a mustache. He seemed to be in charge. I tried to stop them, asked them what was it all about. Why were they there? They were less than forthcoming.
What next?
Becker pointed them to Heidi's room. They locked themselves in with the girls, refused to let me join them. And I was so busy worrying about them, I didn't even think I should keep my eye on Becker.
Why? What did she do?
She sneaked off to Anna's room with that damned suitcase. I should have noticed, realized it. I should have stopped her. What a fool I was.
What can you tell me about the conflict between Miss Kazmirek and Emilia?
Snake hated her, and that's putting it mildly. I don't know why, but she really did, to the point of wanting her dead. To the point of getting her killed. I'm not sure how much time had passed before they opened the door. The tall one, he dragged Heidi out to the kitchen. He was done with playing nice.
What did he do?
He shoved Heidi towards us, hurling threats and insults. Pathetic. He demanded we told him which room was Anna's. Becker didn't hide her excitement as she showed him.
How did everyone else in the kitchen react to this?
Heidi was livid. She was screaming at that Schupo boy, daring him to lay one finger on her. She knew it wasn't right what they were doing to Anna. Oh, and Becker was smiling that little, arrogant smile of hers. How could I have been so blind?
How did Miss Kazmirek come to know Mr. Hens?
She used to work for him, same with Heidi. He was quite a well-known man among the locals, respected, dependent. From what I've heard, he took in Anna's mother after it was all done.
What can you tell me about your relationship with Miss Kazmirek?
What am I supposed to say? The hell do you want to hear? We were together, in love, planning to get married once all that nightmare was over. We were happy.
What can you tell me about your family's situation before the bombing?
Nothing that would concern you. I'd only just returned to the city, got a leave from service. Spent most of that time with Anna. All the time she could spare.
Did Miss Kazmirek have any previous encounters with the police?
No. My Anna was nothing like that.
What did the Kazmireks have with them?
Not a long list. And in all honesty, at this point, I don't even remember.
Where was her father?
Dead. Passed away when Anna was 5. She told me she could barely remember him. So there we were, me, Heidi, and Becca. 3 friendly neighbors, just waiting for the sky to fall. At least the 2 of us. For Becker, it must have been Christmas. What could we do? All we needed was one good look at Becker to understand the whole thing. It was her. She planned all of it. This was how she finally got rid of Anna.
What makes you so sure it was all part of Emilia Becker's plan?
You weren't there. You didn't know her like I did. She was beaming, radiant, just full of herself. A pity we didn't get the time to confront her.
Why? What stopped you?
The police boy came out of Anna's room, grinning. He had a suitcase. The suitcase.
What did the 3 of you do then?
Becca struck immediately. Said the suitcase was hers, that Anna took it from her house, from the ruins of her house. That Anna was a looter, a traitor to the nation. And Heidi? She kept it together. As soon as she heard Becca's lies, she took off to get help. Smart. Wish I could say the same about myself. It didn't change anything in the end.
Were there any conflicts between the shelter's inhabitants?
Other than the Becker snake and her vendetta against Anna? No. Not that I know of.
What did a regular day at the shelter look like?
I'm hardly the right person to ask. I didn't live there, wasn't there all the time. I only visited when I could see Anna.
The suitcase. What can you remember about it? Had you seen it before?
No, never. No one's ever seen it before. No one.
Interesting wording there. No one's ever seen it before. No one has.
Then it's all a blur. Like when I was at the... I couldn't think straight. I couldn't really think at all. I remember barging into Anna's room.
Hauptmann Kirchmann, I have to ask. Is it possible Anna did in fact loot something?
I'd appreciate if you stopped insulting her memory. And no, it's not possible.
Tell me about Teresa Kazmirek.
She seemed a kind woman. Weird, withdrawn, but kind. The few times she actually spoke with me, she told us some stories from back... wherever she was from. Somewhere east, would be Poland.
Why did you go to Anna's room?
I was trying to find something, anything to prove she was innocent, that it was Becker all along. She must have left something behind. She had to. I tossed around everything, pulled out every drawer.
Did you find anything to prove Emilia Becker meddled with Anna's room?
No, of course not. We wouldn't be sitting here if I did.
You said the Kazmireks were from somewhere east?
Yes. Their origin was important for her, having grown up on her mother's stories. She always said she wanted to visit their former hometown. The way she talked about it sounded like she even wanted to live there. Next thing I know, I was back in the kitchen. Alone. And I could hear them. Behind the door. Behind the damn door. They wailed on her. Both of them. Again and again. They called her trash, a looter, a whore, a parasite, a pest. The walls there were so thin, I could hear it all.
Was anybody else still there?
It's fuzzy. I don't think so, no.
I apologize, this must be very difficult, but did you see Anna Kazmirek when she came out of the room?
I did. They had to carry her out. She was barely conscious. And her face, my Anna's face, they must pay.
Really must.
What then? Did you do anything?
No. No. We're done here. We're fucking done here. Is this a joke to you? She was tortured.
Before you furiously storm off, there's one more document I'd like to ask you about.
I'm not.
You will want to see it. According to it, you already admitted your guilt. Can you tell me what this man is referring to? This man, your uncle. Did you contact him about Anna's arrest? Did you ask him to help her? Cover for you? What is this plan he refers to?
Idiot.
Excuse me?
She had it all planned and I... Idiot. I have nothing to say to you. You have your proof. I just hope you have enough for that snake as well.
I feel like there's still something missing. I should give more thought to that house search idea.
Miss Katz. Good. I hope the investigation's proceeding apace.
Proceeding? Yes. Not much. Feel like we're going around in circles, though.
I finished interviewing our last witness, Mr. Kirchmann.
Oh, please don't keep me in suspense. Did our military friend prove helpful in the end?
Less helpful than I would have wished. Some interesting details, but I did hope for something more concrete. Especially with how much of a headache getting him to testify has been in the first place.
Yes, he did not make it easy on our Mrs. Fisher. Still, every testimony has its value, and I have full trust in your capability to find it. Very well, then. I assume the reason for your visit is the warrant we discussed? To have one of the witnesses' houses searched?
I still need some time to think this through.
Very well, we only have one chance, so it is best to consider your options carefully. But the clock is ticking, I'm afraid. I need a decision today.
Better see what Peter's about.
Anything to report, Constable Marlene? All in order? That's what I like to hear. Heard you have something interesting.
Oh, Katz. Good. Yes, but I don't even know where to start. Best see for yourself.
Gosh.
It wasn't filled out. What am I looking for?
Keep looking. Check the others.
Close command. Reports against for the shooting of the above-mentioned prisoners on the run. Camp command has asked for the investigation for props and the bodies to be released for cremation as the guards had not acted on law.
Are they all empty?
And?
Wait, is that a signature?
Keep going. So?
They didn't sign off on false information.
They signed off on no information.
A list in blanco for the wardens to fill out however they wanted. A free ticket to cover up any murder. Any number of murders.
It's incredible. I can't... No. Actually, I can very much believe it.
Me too.
Of course that's what they do. Anytime a prisoner was killed for whatever reason. They had this. All that was needed was just to write a lie, and it's already certified. The guards, the administration, the judges, everyone was in on it. Everyone is complicit.
Kranich. Who's that? For some reason the name sounds familiar.
Not surprising. He has a law firm in Frankfurt. Bergmann, Kranich and Partner. It's quite well known. I actually got an offer from them. But back in the day, he was actually a judge.
Wait, Bergmann, Kranich and Partner?
Yes.
No, that's... Bergmann's my father's friend. I used to get Christmas gifts from him. My father wanted me to work for them.
Good thing you didn't. I don't know about Bergmann, but Kranich was clearly involved.
What about Judge von Stamm? Are any of these signed by him?
A couple. Just as empty as this one.
Is this the case for all of these reports? Were they all...
Pre-signed, cover-up, highly illegal?
all of the above.
Hard to say at this point, to be honest, but I think it's quite likely.
Then what now?
Now I have to go to Poland.
Why's that?
That's where these files are from. Breslau. I need to talk to the man who found them. See if he can tell me anything more. If I'm lucky, he might even have some more of these. I also plan to interview a few of my potential witnesses there. I've run into some trouble trying to get them here, so... What's the saying? If the mountain won't come to Muhammad...
What can I say? Good luck.
Thanks. I'll need it. The flight is this Saturday. Sorry I won't be there to see you embarrass yourself in court. But while I'm gone, I asked Paula to give you any files that would arrive for me.
Wait, wouldn't that mean you trust me?
Don't push it. Now, if you don't mind, there's still a lot to do before I leave.
Right. Peters?
Guts? Wait! Thank you.
For what?
For this. Everything. For taking this case seriously when no one else did. For helping me. For listening. Oh, I don't know. You know what? Forget it. Just bye.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Let's go through the case file. these two together. Yep, handwriting looks very similar, doesn't it? Now about that scarf.
Miss Katz, reached a decision regarding the warrant?
Yes, Mr. Bauer.
So I understand you have a finished theory on what had actually happened on the day of the arrest.
I'm just particularly interested in one of my witnesses. I suspect they know more than they let on.
I see. This is the only chance, Miss Katz. We will not be able to get a warrant for another house search. I suggest you make sure your decision is the correct one.
I'm sure of my decision, Mr. Bauer.
Very well, I'm listening. Who should we get a warrant for?
Emilia Becker.
Emilia Becker, the neighbor. Let's search her.
Let's see what comes of it. Good luck, Miss Katz.
There's nothing left for me to do. I should call it a day.
Not lovely. 12th of November, 1950.
Miss Katz, they completed the search. Oh, and there's a new anonym for you. Sorry.
Did they find anything?
Oh, they sure did. Turns out, young Miss Becker was something of a diarist. The officers took the liberty of bookmarking the entries following the bombing. I'd say they prove most enlightening.
Is that so? I'll better give them a read then.
Okay, I admit it. I did look at a walkthrough and knew that Emilia was the one to search, but honestly, she struck me as the kind of person that we would have needed to search anyway. The evidence pointed at her.
Let's see about that anonym. More death threats is exactly what I need now. This is nothing short of a confession. Why, who could have sent this?
Dearest mother, dearest father, dear God, I doubt no, I am sure that this letter will never reach its destination. We are surrounded. The city lies in ruins. We hide in the citadel and wait for it all to end. I will die tonight, and if not tonight, then soon. The Russian bullets have made sure of that. I can feel my life fading. Before I pass on from this world, there are things that were left unsaid. I will say them now. Father of mother, I wish I could have been a better son, more caring, more kind. Forgive me. Emilia Becker, I curse you. I curse your wretched life with my dying breath. I hope that you will never find happiness and joy again. I hope you die. I hope you suffer. My Anna, I am sorry. I believe now. I now know you could never have done all those dreadful things, but I believed her. What a fool I was. You remember when the bombs fell, when the city burned? I wish I had never escaped the flames. I wish I never lived. I wish we had more time. And I am sorry, my beloved Anna. Soon I will be gone. I only wish there was a place for me where you are, but I know there is not. Farewell, Wolf Kurzman. You should prepare the blueprint for the trial. Mr. Barr asks you to see you once you're done with the case. German government demands release of POWs. Bonn, the Federal Republic, has informed Moscow that any progress in German-Soviet trade relations depends on the release of German prisoners still held in Soviet camps. 12 years after the war's end, thousands of German soldiers remain in Soviet custody. The government's firm stance reflects growing public pressure to resolve this humanitarian issue before considering economic cooperation with the Soviet Union. Young prosecutor's crusade raises concerns. Frankfurt, in what observers call an alarming development, State Attorney Esther Katz has filed charges against decorated veteran Wolfgang Kirschman. Case emerging from State Attorney General Bauer's office represents another troubling attempt to reopen settled cases matters from the war period. Critics note this latest prosecution could damage West Germany's standing among NATO allies who are providing propaganda material for the Eastern Bloc. As Katz's aggressive pursuit of the case reflects her controversial priorities of her superior, the office continues to disturb social peace with these disruptive investigators. Stealing, no doubt, as if people didn't loosen up. Later I saw her bring a suitcase to our apartment, put it under the bed. 17th Tuesday. We share a wall. My bed is right by it and hers is on the other side. I can hear them when he comes. When he speaks with her house, he lies. I can't take it. 18th Wednesday. Why didn't I think of it earlier? She was there, the damned Polak. I saw her. It's so simple. She brought the suitcase there. If I tell them where she got it, I'll find it. I mean, be free of that pest. I just need Wolf to. He'll see. We'll finally have to see. Anyone see this? This one I'm not sure.
Essie, hello. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
I'm just finishing up with my investigation.
Ah, I'll be quick then. I wanted to wish you good luck. I've kept my ear out about your case, and it's a tough one. I'm impressed with how well you have been handling it. Impressed and a little bit worried.
Why are you worried?
Essie, honestly, you're smarter than this. It's one thing to go after NSDAP like last time, but the police? An officer in active duty, no less. Not to even mention the military man, Kirchmann, was it? You're not making yourself many friends with this case.
If I was,
But
if I
before
wanted
you
to make
start,
friends, I
I'm
wouldn't
not
have been a
saying
lawyer.
you shouldn't be doing this. I'm just worried.
Actually, wait. I have a question.
Yes?
It's about Bergmann, Kranich and Partner.
Is it now? That's unexpected. Reconsidering the offer?
You wish.
It's a bit late, but I'm sure I can talk to them.
I found something. Something bad.
Stop.
But
No, stop. Whatever it is, I take it. It's from one of your investigations, yes?
unfortunately,
Then it's confidential. I can't be hearing any of it. I don't want to be hearing any of it. Are we understood? Are we understood?
yes.
Good. And I'm sorry for raising my voice. I'm proud of you, Essie. You know that?
You've been saying that a lot lately. Is everything all right?
Yes, of course. I've
He's
simply
dying.
come to realize I've never said it enough, and I should have. I'm proud of you, and nothing can change that.
We all
All
want
right.
to.
Now to see what Mr. Bauer wanted to talk about.
We all want to believe the best of our family. what he planted. We're ready. Cross your fingers.
Miss Katz, thank you for coming. I understand the case is ready for court.
Yes, Mr. Bauer.
That's good to hear. Miss Katz, I won't dance around the topic. I have an important question for you. Why are you here?
I'm afraid I don't understand.
You've always known this job would not be easy or grateful. And by now you're sure to have noticed that what you knew didn't even begin to cover it. People hate you. They want to see you fail, celebrate every hurdle in your path, curse and discredit every hard-won success. Hardly an inciting prospect for a promising lawyer of your intellect. And, let's face it, one blessed with the connections of your father. With all the options open to you, why did you choose to join the most hated man in Frankfurt?
As you said yourself, it's the right thing to do.
And for me, that remains true. But is it for you, Miss Katz? Is it really?
I had this friend growing up. Her name was Lotte. Charlotte Lang.
And she was Jewish.
The Langs were our neighbors. Lived on the ground floor across the street. Had the entire floor to themselves. They were bankers before the war, before the racial laws. Our families were close. Mr. Lang studied together with my father, and they used to partner in some business. Lotte was the same age as me. Our parents knew each other, we were both girls, and we lived right next door. Was it even possible for us to not end up best friends? It sounds stupid now, talking about a friendship between children, but we were close, like sisters.
But it didn't last.
I don't remember when things changed, not exactly. You don't really see those things when you're a kid. Slowly, our parents became weird around each other, different. Then the Nuremberg laws happened.
Were enacted.
My mother, she forbade me from seeing Lotte. Said she was a bad influence. That I shouldn't associate with her element. We got into an argument. No, that's not right. I had a tantrum. I was 8, so any sort of lip from me was a tantrum.
And did you stop?
No, not at first. Not for a while. We tried to keep together. Mostly at school, away from our parents. Then our classmates started whispering. Then the older and younger kids, the teachers. And little by little, I abandoned her. Other than me, she'd never had many friends. With me gone, she was alone. It was hard at first. It hurt. Lotte was my friend, and I left her. I knew it was wrong, but I still did. I was angry, embarrassed. With my mother, with the teachers, with everyone, including myself. But again, little by little as time passed, that's the worst part. It became normal. I remember one time a few years later, I was on my way back from school. Wasn't far from home, just the next street over. I heard it before I saw it. 3 older boys from school in Hitlerjugend uniforms.
Hitler Youth.
And Lotte. You can guess what they did. She was on the floor. They kicked her on the alley, spit on her, called her. I was there. I should have said something, done something. I don't know.
But you didn't.
They noticed me, confronted me. Confronted. No, that's rich. They didn't even have to threaten me. I ran away anyway. I didn't see her after that. Not until the night. The dogs woke me up. They started barking as soon as the cars pulled in. It was the middle of the night, 2 or 3 in the morning. I saw them from my window, lining up in front of the lungs. They kicked the door in, herded them out like animals. Like fish. Lotte was the last one. I know how it sounds, but before disappearing into the van, for just a moment, she turned towards me. As if she knew I was there.
I see. Miss Katz, would you say then that this work, what we're doing here, is personal for you?
Yes, very much so.
A pity. I must say, I find that disappointing. Miss Katz, I cannot overstate this enough. This isn't and cannot be about you. Or about me, for that matter. Or Mr. Peters, Miss Fisher, Mr. Wohlmuth, anybody here. Nor should it be about your friend, as tragic as her story is. We are not heroes here. Our goal isn't to avenge, heal, or redeem, neither the dead nor the living. Our task, our duty, is much greater than that. We are prosecutors, and what we do is we see justice done. We make sure that all actions have consequences. That's the only way we can stop all of this from happening again. That is why I want to see you in court tomorrow, not to make it up to your friend, nor to ease your guilty conscience, nor even to give Miss Kazmirek or her family their closure. The one reason you should stand in that courtroom tomorrow is to see justice done, to uphold the law, because that is our duty.
I still need to get Paula to prepare the indictment.
Miss Katz, are you done with the case?
As ready as I'll be.
Isn't that always the truth? I'll start writing the indictment to send tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm still here for a few hours, just in case you want to change anything. Thank you, Lord, for Mr. Bauer's stance on overtime pay.
There's nothing left for me to do. I should call it a day.
We go.
It's time.
Order. This court is now in session. Judge Ernst Braun presiding, considering the case of Anna Kazmirek. Speaking for the prosecution, counsel Esther Katz. Representing the defendants Wagner and Becker, counsel Rudolf Schramm. And counsel Sigmund Hauptner, representing the defendants Grunewald and Kirchmann. I ask the prosecution to present their theory. Ms. Katz, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Anna Kazmirek was a barely 19-year-old girl who had just lost everything she could call hers. She was the only daughter of a sickly widow and the only one who could provide for both of them. She had friends, she had a boyfriend. She had dreams, hopes. She had a future. We are not here today to debate the accusations against her or the possibility of her guilt. We are here because of the crimes against her. On the morning of October 20th, 1944, 2 officers of the Schutzpolizei arrived at the temporary lodgings of Anna Kazmirek. The reason behind their visit was an anonymous phone call made earlier that same morning. The caller had reported a theft, naming Ms. Kazmirek as the perpetrator. This caller was none other but the accused Wolf Kirchmann, the girl's boyfriend.
What?
Leaving his motivation aside for the moment, it is because of his call that the police became interested in the victim. Because of his accusations. Anna Kazmirek was tortured and killed because Wolfgang Kirchmann reported her to the police.
That's right. He wanted to get rid of her.
What? I knew it. You're just the same as the rest of those
Order.
Objection, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hauptner?
According to Mr. Kirchmann, the person to make the call was the accused Emilia Becker, who, as we learned from our witnesses, made no secret of her distaste for the victim. Having learned of the crime, Mrs. Becker did what she believed was right. She called the police to inform them of her suspicions.
Mr. Chairman, I have to...
Which in itself does not constitute a criminal act. So I must ask, why should we consider the prosecution's theory of more probable?
Objection sustained. Unless Miss Guts can...
Certainly, Mr. Chairman.
All right. We have neighbor's testimony that the soldier boy was on the phone at 10:25 when a mail caller reported incident of theft.
The call in question has been recorded under the number 4410200002 and was made at 10:25. According to the police documentation, the caller was male, leaving us with just one suspect.
What?
The accused, Wolfgang Kirchmann.
You've proven your point, Miss Guts. Objection overruled.
You piece of shit.
Miss Grunewald, this is a court of law.
Tragedy. Tragedy.
Oh,
Let's proceed. Miss Guts?
During the interrogation of Miss Kazmirek, the officers recovered a suitcase hidden in a room. It matched the description of the stolen items provided in the phone call. As you have heard, however, some of the witnesses claim that said suitcase was planted. It is the prosecution's belief that this was not the case. The suitcase was found in Miss Kazmirek's room because she had brought it there. Which is not to say we believe the accusations that were levied against her. It is our stance that the suitcase in question belonged to Miss Kazmirek and her mother.
I see. Does the defense have anything to add in this question?
No, Mr. Chairman. For once, I would say Miss Katz seems to have it right.
I have to disagree. The question of the suitcase appears to be crucial to this case, and it needs to be given the proper scrutiny. As such, I'm surprised the prosecution has chosen to disregard the testimonies of 2 witnesses. According to both Mrs. Grunewald and Mr. Kirchmann, the supposedly looted suitcase was planted in the victim's room. Planted by Mrs. Becker while the victim was being interrogated by the police.
Miss Guts, your response? Is there any...
Certainly. Miss Kazmirek admitted to having taken the suitcase, not only in her testimony, questionable as it was.
They made her say it!
We did no such thing, Mr. Chairman.
But also in her final letter to her mother.
What?
In it, she specifies she had believed it to be theirs because of a characteristic red scarf. The same scarf is described in the evidence form for the recovered suitcase.
Miss Katz, you've proven your point. Objection overruled.
Bullcrap! It was Becker! It had to be.
As if. She brought it all on herself.
Please continue, Miss Katz.
For 2.
Halfway through their interrogation, one of the officers left for the victim's room and searched it for the suitcase in question. It is possible that, having found it, this officer could have left the building, placing him away from the crime scene for the events that followed. The officer in question was the deceased Klaus Nowak.
Objection. According to Mr. Wagner, he was the one to search the room. Why has the prosecution decided to distrust the words of an officer of the law?
Miss Katz, if you...
Gladly, Mr. Chairman. According to the evidence form for the suitcase recovered during Anna Kazmirek's arrest, it was found by a watchmaster. Of the 2 men who were dispatched, only the deceased Mr. Nowak held that rank.
I must have misremembered that.
Misremembered. Indeed. Mr. Shah, your objection is overruled. Miss Katz, if you would...
Here, I need to bring your attention to the crime Anna Kazmirek was sentenced for, that of looting, treason. Yet, as we've heard, the charges the officers had arrived to investigate were merely of theft. How did this change? When did theft become looting? It was because of the words of Emilia Becker.
Oh, finally, that's right.
Mrs. Grunewald, I warn you.
Following the retrieval of the suitcase, Mrs. Becker approached the officers and offered a clarification. She claimed the suitcase in question was hers.
I did not.
And had been taken from the ruins of her bombed house, a voluntary evacuated building.
That's right. I heard her say it.
It is the prosecution's position that she knew this would qualify the supposed crime as looting, branding Miss Kazmirek a traitor.
This is madness!
Mrs. Becker did so fully aware of how harsh the verdict would be.
Objection. Why has the prosecution chosen to ignore the testimony of Mrs. Becker? She states clearly that it was Wolfgang Kirchmann who told the officers the suitcase had been looted rather than stolen. That because of him, Miss Kazmirek's charges were elevated to those of looting and treason.
Miss Katz,
Certainly. In her diary, Mrs. Becker claimed to have seen Miss Kazmirek during the act of the supposed looting.
Oh, for the love of God!
As you can see, she referred to the victim as a Polak, in light of her mother's descent, the topic of which would later be used to justify the harshness of her verdict. Mrs. Becker, may I add, remains the only person claiming to have seen Miss Kazmirek commit any crime.
Thank you, Miss...
And you know what? I do it again.
Mrs. Becker.
Are you all blind? Are you idiots? So what if the damn suitcase wasn't mine? So what if I embellished it a little bit? She wasn't some innocent angel, you idiots. That damn Polak was a thieving, manipulating whore.
Order. This is a court of law, not some Sunday market, and you will behave accordingly, Mrs. Becker.
Aren't you forgetting the law
The same
about
goes for you,
rule
Mrs.
about
Grunewald.
not giving false
now,
testimony?
Let the record show that the prosecution has proven their accusation and that the accused has admitted to it. Miss Katz, proceed to your next point.
The final question remains. Today we've heard from 4 witnesses whose recollections of the events varied, to say the least. Yet, they all shared a common point. One event on which all witnesses agreed. Anna Kazmirek did not confess of her own will. Anna Kazmirek was tortured. She was beaten by the accused Otto Wagner, who inflicted significant bodily harm upon the girl, repeatedly assaulting her until she admitted her guilt. She was forced to give a confession that would satisfy the officer without regard for its veracity.
Objection.
Let's hear it.
The only witness claiming to have seen the perpetrator after the beating is Mr. Kirchmann. And from his testimony, it is abundantly clear that he was not of his right mind. It is the defense's opinion that the testimony of Otto Wagner presents a more plausible course of events. It was the defendant's partner and superior, Klaus Nowak, who tortured the victim.
Miss Katz, if you...
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. According to the police report from Miss Kazmirek's arrest, one of the officers involved had received first aid. As you can see from the photo, the officer in question was Otto Wagner, with his freshly bruised fist. The knuckles, mostly, as if he had just used his fist to repeatedly punch somebody.
Very well. I consider your claims proven.
But I had to. She wouldn't admit it. She just wouldn't. She was guilty. She was. I was just doing the right thing.
That's what they always say.
Now, before I pronounce the verdict, is there anything else this court should be aware of?
There is, Mr. Chairman.
Let's hear it.
As we've established, it was the accused Wolf Kirchmann who called the police on Miss Kazmirek. What we haven't established is the why. Why would he do that? Weren't they a couple? Weren't they happy?
Oh, that's the photo he was talking about. There's Wagner. His fist bruised. Yes. Diary entry.
As you can read in this letter, it was part of a plan, a stunt. One where he was to be Anna's savior. But how? Why? In his own would-be dying words, because he believed Emilia Becker.
It was all her plan. She made it all up.
Oh, get over yourself. You were more than happy to do it.
Snake.
To teach her a lesson. To scare her. Not this.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Order. Mr. Scham, Mr. Hauptner, you will control your clients. Miss Katz, please continue.
His call was about a theft, a lesser crime, one that he knew she had not committed. It is the prosecution's belief that this is all he ever intended. An incident with the police from which he could save his beloved. That's what Mrs. Becker let him believe was the plan. But herself, she had a different idea. As she wrote in her diary, it was a way to be free of her.
You swore she cheated on me.
Of course she did. She was a whore. You were just too blind to see it. She got exactly what she deserved.
You killed her. You used me to kill her.
I did it for us.
Piece of shit. You both deserve each other.
Silence! This is disgraceful. Mrs. Becker, Hauptmann Kirchmann, you have just admitted to another crime. Furthermore, I find you both, and Mrs. Grunewald to boot, in contempt of court. Now, if we can have some order in here. Miss Guts, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I believe the accused have said it all, Mr. Chairman.
That they have, indeed. I've heard enough. All rise.
All right.
This court has reached the following verdict. In the case of the defendant Wolfgang Kirchmann...
Hauptmann.
Yes. Hauptmann Wolfgang Kirchmann. Born March 17th, 1924, residing at Buschstraße 34, Bonn. For the crime of false deprivation of liberty through indirect perpetration and a deliberate false accusation, this court finds you guilty.
Good.
As the prosecution proved, Miss Kazmirek was arrested due to the report made by the defendant. The false report, as he was perfectly aware of his accusations being a lie. Defendant Wolfgang Kirchmann, you are hereby sentenced to 3 years of prison. Next in the case of the defendant Emilia Becker, born December 4th, 1924, residing at Kaiserstraße 11, Brunswick. Considering the damning evidence provided by the prosecution, only one verdict can be justified. Mrs. Becker, this court hereby finds you guilty of the crime of murder through indirect perpetration.
What?
Anna Kazmirek's arrest and the execution were a direct result of your deliberate lies. And, as the prosecution has proven, you had the intent and the base motive of jealousy. With such premeditated actions, this court cannot pronounce any other verdict.
No. This isn't possible. I did nothing wrong.
Only
Defendant
outward
Emilia
Christian.
Becker, you are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment. And lastly, in the case of defendant Otto Wagner, born February 23rd, 1918, residing at Georg Westermann Allee 75, Brunswick. For the crime of assault for coercion of confession, this court finds the defendant guilty.
No.
The prosecution has proven beyond reasonable doubt that it was in fact Mr. Wagner, and Mr. Wagner alone.
I had to do it.
Who forced the victim to give her confession through torture. Defendant Otto Wagner, you are hereby sentenced to 3 years in prison. This court is adjourned.
I got a perfect score on that. Field case. Brunswick, October 18th, 1944. 3 days after the bombing of the city, Emilia Becker filed a complaint about stolen property that she had hidden before the air raid. In her complaint, she named Anna Kazmirek, an acquaintance who was in conflict, as a suspect. 2 days later, officers Otto Wagner and Klaus Nowak of the protective police arrived at Anna Kazmirek's temporary lodgings, where they interrogated her. She was beaten and forced to provide a confession. The confession perfectly matched the events as outlined in Emilia Becker's complaint and was significantly different from the actual events, would be confirmed by multiple witnesses decades later. Within 24 hours, based solely on her confession, Anna Kazmirek was charged and tried of looting under the Ordinance Against Public Enemies, commonly called the People's Pest Law. Despite her lack of previous criminal history, the absence of any evidence or corroborating testimony, and the positive impression she left on the court, Anna Kazmirek was found guilty and sentenced to death. During the trial, none of the available witnesses for the defense were called, and no attempt to question Anna Kazmirek's confession was made. November 23rd, 1944, at 12:07 p.m., Anna Kazmirek was executed by guillotine at Wolfenhut. In the years 1952 to 1966, there have been 5 attempts to overturn Anna Kazmirek's verdict. All were unsuccessful. It would only be in 1991 that Anna Kazmirek's case was reopened for the final time. For the first time, witnesses on whom the previous courts refused to call were allowed to testify. They all confirmed Anna Kazmirek's innocence. On March 20th, 1991, almost 47 years after her execution, Anna Kazmirek was acquitted. There was no condemnation of the original trial. All names used in the game have been changed. Similarity with real persons bearing these names are purely coincidental, but this story remains true as one of many. Perfect scores on court procedure and interrogation. Didn't get everything on investigation, but I can always try that again.
It's all so petty, so small, so human. How else should one describe it? Human pettiness given power. Jealousy, insecurity, naivety. A system that so desperately needed to show strength, no matter the facts. Mrs. Becker remained defiant in the face of the verdict. So what if she lied? So what if the girl was innocent? She had it coming, she yelled, as the guards escorted her out. I'm told that year's Christmas at the Wolfenbüttel Women's Prison was quite an event for the incarcerated. It was in no small regard due to the exemplary work of inmate Becker, who volunteered to help organize it. This sort of activism would take up most of her time, as she took it on herself to return the women there to the Lord. To say Mr. Wagner cried at the verdict as laughably lenient as it was would be an understatement. He bawled, like a little boy. He claimed he was told that she was guilty, that without a confession she'd get away with it, that it had to be done. That's what they all did. It had to be right. And all Otto Wagner ever wanted was to do right. It must be said that Mr. Kirchmann accepted his verdict with dignity. A rare enough occurrence when it comes to our cases. Still, he couldn't bring himself to look his former friends in the eyes. He served his time dutifully, a model prisoner in all regards, with almost no incidents to speak of. It remains unclear how the belt found its way into Wolfgang Kirchmann's hands, or how he hid it from the guards. What is known is that by the time he was found during the morning rally, there was not much point in calling the doctor. He left no letter. Mrs. Grunewald and Mr. Hens were quick to celebrate the verdict, quick and loud. They ended up having to be escorted out of the courtroom. But Mrs. Hens, Teresa Hens, didn't join in their enthusiasm. Yes, some justice for Anna was achieved, that's true. But after all, justice was not what she had wanted. What she had really wanted was the impossible. Her daughter back. Why are we here? Why do we pick at these old wounds? Why don't we let the past be? It is because it would be too easy to choose to forget, to ignore, to stay silent. And isn't that how we got here in the first place? Acceptance by silence. The silence of the people who all partook in the system that killed her. A system they created and agreed to. They lived in it, obeying, upholding, and empowering its rules. A system that without them couldn't exist. Yes, we cannot undo what has already happened. We cannot undo Miss Kazmirek's death, but we must learn from it. To choose the truth and not the lie. Justice, not injustice. Right instead of wrong. So no other girl shares the fate of Anna Kazmirek.
Martin Luther King once said, "In the end, we will not remember these words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." And I think I really do know what he means by that. Epilogue.
Hello? Anybody here? There's something in my inbox. Paula must have been here already. Esther Katz?
Miss Katz, this is Bauer. Could you come to my office, please?
Oh, so you are here at least. I was wondering where everyone had gone. Is this about a new case?
Let's not talk about it over the phone.
Sure, I'm on my way.
Miss Katz, we need to talk about the future of this department. We will change the way we are working. And I'm afraid you won't get your own cases anymore.
Did I do anything wrong?
It has nothing to do with your performance. Are you familiar with the case Peters has been working on?
The blank suspension's already signed?
Exactly. A witness gave us documents that the SS wanted to destroy just before the end of the war. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, they did not succeed in burning all of them. These documents prove that certain judges gave blanket acquittals for the killing of camp inmates. Of course, we always knew that the tens of thousands of people who were supposedly shot on the run were in fact systematically murdered. The Nazi state tried to maintain the appearance of legality until the very end.
Of course they do.
The problem of Auschwitz, you would probably agree, did not begin at the gates of Auschwitz and Birkenau. People had to be brought there, which means there were many perpetrators. There was an entire system behind it. With these documents, we could finally succeed in bringing the Auschwitz system to justice. Not only those who actively carried out the killings, or those who gave the orders at the very top, who are either dead or somewhere in South America today, but also those who kept the system running that made it all possible. The desk murderers. We will bring them to justice. Together. That's why I can't give you any more cases. I need everyone to help with this one. We will bring Auschwitz to court.
Thank you for your trust.
Good. Several packages arrived from Poland. These are more lists of the kind Peters found. I asked Paula to put them on your desk.
Speaking of which, where is everybody?
Paula has an appointment. Mr. Peters is at court and Mr. Wohlmuth is visiting relatives in Munich. So it's you and me today. Best you get to work. There is a lot to do.
Will do. So, what do we have here? Even more of these, of course. And here's our good friend. Another empty one. Figures. That's a new one. Time to expand the suspect list. Wait, this one... I know this one. No. 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 No!
Dad.
Oh God. What do I do now?
This is the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night.
Miss Katz.
Mr. Bauer?
What is it? Found something in the files?
It's about my dad. He...
The Auschwitz execution files, recovered in 1945 from a burning courthouse in Breslau, proved crucial in establishing Frankfurt's court jurisdiction over the Auschwitz complex. The files contained lists of prisoners shot in 1942 during alleged escape attempts and named 37 members of the SS as the shooters. With their names now known, the prosecution was able to find over 1,500 witnesses whose testimony served to disprove the validity of those files. The first Frankfurt Auschwitz trial began on December 20th, 1963. Over the next 20 months, more than 300 witnesses testified to the daily atrocities of the Auschwitz concentration camp. For many Germans, this was their first in-depth look into the horrifying daily routine of the extermination machinery at Auschwitz. The vast majority of the accused present at the proceedings showed little to no remorse. On August 19, 1965, over 20 years after the end of World War II, the first Frankfurt Auschwitz trial came to a close. 2 more followed. On July 1st, 1968, a month after the last of the trials, Fritz Bauer was found dead in his apartment in Frankfurt. He was 64.
Characters of Esther Kazmirek co-workers are fictional. But the cases they worked on are not. The names of the real prosecutors who worked with Fritz Bauer in the first Frankfurt Auschwitz trial are Gerhard Wies, George Frederick Bokel, Johann Gugler, Hans Gross. We can't make heaven out of earth, but each of us can do something to prevent it from becoming hell. Fritz Bauer. Doing my best, Fritz. All doing our best. And that's the end. And that was a really enjoyable game. I really liked that. It was deep, it was thrilling, it really got you in the heart at times. Really deep story, really deep characters, some pretty good voice acting, and some superb puzzle-solving gameplay. You really do have to think like a detective to solve games like this, and I appreciate that. So, I'm going to end this episode here. I'm going to say thank you all for watching. Hope you like this little series, and I'll see you all in the next video. Wiedersehen.